Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you happen to be on the planet. I'm Greg Scott, and I want to talk about working from home this morning. So let's just go right into our slides here. I have to click some buttons on my computer. Let's go there, and don't worry about the screen within screen within screen. That's my OBS studio getting ready. Let's go to our slideshow, and there we are. As of mid-March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic is the biggest disruption we've seen in any of our lifetimes. Like it or not, the world is not the same as it was a couple weeks ago, and it's not going to be the same again. Social distancing is going to be part of our language for a long time. And Dr. Michael Olsterholm might be about the smartest person on the planet there is with infectious diseases. Work on my pronunciation. I put a link to his one of his videos on the slide here. We would do well to listen to Dr. Olsterholm. And part of what he says is, this is serious business, and we're supposed to stay at home and do as much virtually as we can until this whole thing passes. And it's going to be months before it passes. And that means we're going to be doing this for a while. I don't know anything about infectious diseases, but I do know a little bit about working remotely. And so here's a few things to think about when you set it up. You need to look at this from a couple points of view, from the business side and from the remote worker side. And the business side could be a company, a school, a nonprofit. I'm just going to call it the company just to keep language straight. And I'll take it for granted that we all have internet connections. You're watching this video, and so you're connected to the internet somehow. On the business side, you need to think about a few things. You need to think about having a means to support face-to-face meetings. You've got to be able to share information, especially calendars. You got to learn how to collaborate and share documents in progress, and I've got some thoughts on that. You need to provide remote workers with all information inside the company walls. People are out there in their houses. They need to get inside, but you need to do that so that your people can get inside and attackers cannot get inside. And yes, that's a tall order, but I'll help you out with some of it. Face-to-face meetings are a biggie. Now, I know this slide shows smiling models in a couple of expensive conference rooms, but I do video meetings just about every day from my house and with other people in their houses. And you've seen my background. I promise you other people in their houses have equally or even messier backgrounds than mine. You don't need an expensive conference room painted white that looks like you're in heaven someplace. The other thing about video meetings is, today, a $60 webcam and a $100 microphone connected to a computer can do just about anything a $2,000 and up device did back in 2003 when I first started pitching working from home. We can do a whole lot with a little less money today. So make sure everyone has a computer with a webcam and a mic, and sign up with any one of the video collaboration services out there. There are lots of choices. In no particular order, here's a few. There's names like Blue Jeans and Zoom and GoToMeeting, WebEx, Skype Video, Google Hangouts. Some of those names come to mind. They all allow screen sharing. They all allow video and audio and all kinds of adjustments. They all allow group conferencing, so groups of people can get together. I probably missed a bunch of others. Pick any one of those that work right. I've used a lot of them. They're all good choices. You need a way to share calendars so you can schedule meetings. And this is important because you're not going to be close to people anymore. There's lots of ways to do this. Bottom line, come up with a calendar standard and use it. This is a good thing to do even if your workforce weren't spread out all over the place. It's still a good thing to do. Document sharing is also a biggie. Now here's one nifty tactic that my coworkers at Red Hat taught me. Whenever we have a formal group meeting, and we do those all the time, in the old days where everybody sat around in a conference room, these days we're all in our houses on the other side of a webcam and a microphone. Bear with me with my cough here. Well, every time we do one of those meetings, we pair it with a shared Google document, and we use that document as a living agenda. So it starts out blank. Sometimes it has a template, depending on who's running the meeting. And then participants fill out the document as the meeting goes along. Anything we want to talk about, we just add a line to the agenda and we talk about it. And then during the meeting, we can assign action items and ownership to different things that have to get done. And that's one way we hold people accountable. It's a workable solution, and I'll encourage you to adopt it. Giving remote access to the company applications and information is another biggie. The best way to do this, use a VPN to extend your private network out to other people's homes. If you have stuff in the cloud, extend that cloud network out to your homes as well. And that's the way that you do that is usually a VPN. There's lots of ways to do it. VPN, virtual private network, by the way. My favorite way is with a system called OpenVPN. And there's lots of other choices, but OpenVPN is a good one. OpenVPN is open source. There's a thriving community that maintains it, and it's the base for lots of commercial products. So if we're going to try a product or a technology, that's a good one to do. Now here's the biggie, another biggie. You got to do all this without giving anything away to attackers. I have a whole website filled with content about keeping safe from attackers, and I'll put up the link in a couple minutes. For now, just a couple tactical thoughts. Make sure your video sessions are encrypted. You might want an instant messaging service, and if you're running this over the public internet outside your VPN, make sure those are also encrypted. Always keep in mind, you're moving private company information back and forth across the public internet. So learn to think like an attacker, and make no mistakes, there will be attackers. And the best attackers learn details about how any system works, and then they probe for weaknesses. When they probe your system, and they will, make sure you probe it first and fix your weaknesses before bad guys fix them. Now, I can't see you right now, but I can already feel your pain as a business decision maker. Setting all this up from scratch by yourself in the middle of a global pandemic, that's a lot to deal with. If I were in your shoes, I would be scrambling too. Bring in a technology architect to help. It's going to cost money, but you'll also gain an ROI from it. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. What about people at home? Well, this needs a few things too. The laptop, webcam, and mic are obvious. So is a phone and maybe a laser printer. Headphones are always nice to have to keep background noise out. But you want a quiet space for your work area, and you want a desk or a table, and you want a comfortable chair. Minimal is good. Now, there's plenty of common sense advice about working from home, and this slide points to a blog post from a coworker at Red Hat with some ideas. And since I used Mike Bursell's picture in the last slide, it's only fair that I plug his blog post. And also, he has some nice ideas to say. So there's his blog post, alicevbob.com, and take a look at it and check out his advice. It's some good stuff. And now it's time to implement it. Get used to the new normal. Now, I know this is a lot to swallow, especially when it's driven by a crisis we haven't faced before. So just put up with me for a couple more seconds of history. I do want to show you an ROI from all this since I've asked you to spend money. I snapped this picture back in 2004 when I tried to persuade the world to adopt working from home. The idea back then, and it's still true today, was let's improve productivity, let's reduce pollution, alleviate traffic jams and airport congestion, and let's save wear and tear on our roads and cars. And do you know how difficult it is to stand on top of a bridge in the middle of a storm and try to get a picture of cars as far back as you can see? It takes a while, by the way. Anyway, as I record this, we're in the shock stage of this crisis. But opportunity flows from adversity, and maybe we can use today's new disruption to help with an old traffic jam problem. Because traffic hasn't gotten any better. Well, until a few days ago anyway, when we all had to stay home from work. Here's another picture I snapped way back in 2008, right before the financial meltdown. Remember paying $3.60 for a gallon of gas in the United States? Here's another picture. This is from a day or two ago. This is the gas price trend from the AAA website in the U.S. as of March 15th, 2020. Here in Minnesota, we were at $2.14 a gallon and dropping. Down from the day before, down from a week ago, down for a month, and down from a year ago. The U.S. national average is also on the same trend. Funny thing, as we drive less, gas prices go down and oil prices go down. Now, we know that gas prices will probably go up, but it's going to be a while. It's going to go lower before they go up because the Russians and Saudi Arabians are fighting with each other and trying to outproduce each other. So price wars are good for consumers. And so if we continue working from home, a lot of times, after this crisis is over, we can continue this nice trend of low gas prices. In my book, Virus Bomb, I put in an epigraph that says, IT services like toilet paper. Nobody cares until there's an outage. I am still floored that there's a toilet paper shortage in the United States today. This is a picture from Sam's Club that's out of toilet paper. You know, we're all adjusting, but we'll get there. Here's how to contact me. I showed email, Twitter, and LinkedIn links on the slide, and I'll give you a couple book plugs. My main character, Jerry Barkley, is no superhero. He never worked for the government. He doesn't know anything about counterterrorism, but he does know his way around security. And in Bullseye Breach, he helps find a way to fight back after overseas crooks steal 40 million customer credit card numbers from a retailer named Bullseye Stores. And in Virus Bomb, he diagnoses the largest cyber attack ever attempted, and he shuts down a follow-on biological attack that could have killed millions. Maybe Jerry Barkley really is a superhero after all. Because real superheroes are ordinary people who step up, even when they don't want to. Thanks for putting up with me through all this. We will get through this together. We will come out the other end stronger than we were before. Thank you.